So, what I want to do in this video is give you a little bit of advice that I think is going to be very, very helpful as a student. Maybe you're a college student, maybe you're a high school student, maybe you are a graduate student at this moment, but I want to give you a little bit of advice that I think is very important and will really change how you think about your education and really change what you do with your career and the courses that you take and what you think about what you're trying to do at this moment. So, if you don't know me, I am Professor Dave Maslach. I'm an associate professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship. And I created this whole reciprocity project to give back as much as I possibly can. There's so many people to help me out that I want to pay the favor for to help you out. So many of us think that the best way to get ahead in school, whether you're a high school student at this moment, whether you're a college student or you're in graduate school, many of us think the best thing that you can do is to pick the best courses or go into the courses that that are probably going to net you the most amount of money, and think about those courses that will either be very easy or that will give you the best grades or something along those lines. And I think that this is probably fundamentally the wrong way to think about education. And if that's something that we have taught, that I have taught, I apologize to any student of mine that I've ever sort of mentioned that or done that way. But I've tried to actually do something that's different in my own career. And I think that this is very important for you to think about what you are doing. And it is focusing on who you are as an individual and focusing on what you do as an individual and thinking about really what is it that I'm fundamentally interested in this world? And what is it that I can do to actually leverage that interest and think about what I am really, really interested in? So, for example, if you're really interested in, I don't know, maybe it's collecting things, or maybe you're interested in race cars, maybe you're interested in, doing something like beauty, for example. I don't know what it is, but I would get you to think about not how to actually get into that particular career, but think about how you can play around with things, play around with your current surroundings, because you could do this right now, and I encourage you to do that. So if you're thinking of going into graduate school and doing research or whatever, or going into entrepreneurship and doing entrepreneurship stuff, don't wait to do that kind of stuff. Just start it now. And as you're executing, as you're doing this kind of stuff, think about how you can pull in together different courses or different assets that's going to get you to the next level, and think about where you want to go in terms of an individual. And at that same time, think about the sort of optionality that you get of those courses or of the things that you're trying to do, rather than think about is it going to get me a good grade, or is it going to net me the most amount of money? The reason why I don't want you to think like that is because once you actually achieve those things, because you're going to achieve them, right? So there's two things that are going to happen. You're going to achieve them, and then you're going to get to it, and you're like, well, I make a bunch of money. And then you're not satisfied. You're doing something that you're not really fundamentally interested in. Or the other thing, you're going to constantly be thinking about how to actually get there, and what's the next step? What's the possible thing that I could do to actually get there? And you're struggling and not getting there, and you're not really achieving the thing that you actually want to get to. So instead of, just dropping all of that stuff, and focus on really what you just love to do and putter around with that thing, and then build the resources, build the skills, build the capabilities that allow you to putter around with that kind of stuff. And I know that that's kind of an abstract construct in terms of what I'm talking about. And it might not necessarily be something that's really I love to garden, right? Like something that's really physical and something that's there. But it could be something that's really abstract, like I just kind of like to learn, or I like to sort of share ideas, or I like to speak, or whatever. If that's the thing that you're interested in, just start doing that and build on top of that. So think about the assets and the resources, the things that you can do to leverage what you're currently doing and to make that a little better. So, for example, maybe you do like gardening and that's something that you're interested in. Well, then just kind of start gardening, but at the same time, just become enamored with gardening, right? Like start talking about it and making it as part of your life. Talk to other people, maybe start like a blog, start just doing stuff and share. And as you're sharing, maybe you take a couple of courses on what it takes to garden, or doing things that are about agriculture. There's a lot of stuff that you can learn that's about gardening in related areas, right? Like you could take a couple of courses on agricultural economics, for example, and really start to understand how this stuff actually works in a larger production, or take some chemistry to learn how plants actually function. And as you're doing this, and I think that this is a better way to think about, okay, where I want to go, think about what you're actually interested in and what you're curious about, and what is it that you do on a day-to-day basis that allows you to leverage to the next thing. So this is the same thing that I would tell any graduate student, for example, any PhD student or anybody that is interested in doing research, is thinking about, what is it that you're really interested in? What is that thing that drives you to get to the next? What is it that you do every day that you're really, really curious about, or that you're passionate about, or that you pick up the newspaper and read about every single day? It might be that when you pick up finance books, for example, you can't sleep after that because it's kind of exciting and you really like that, right? Those stories about finance. Well, then just start learning about that. Actually, that was one way that I kind of figured out that I really like business, was simply because that I just couldn't really sleep after I read, business books and stuff, because I was really kind of just curious. I thought it was really exciting, and I love that. And so I just kind of, worked around that and explored those domains. And as I did this, and I was like, well, I really like entrepreneurship. I like innovation. And all of those things got me really curious. And then I was like, okay, well, I've never actually built anything, I've done things, but, I've never built something and made it into something that was like a big hit. And so what does it take to actually do that? So that's why I started actually doing the Reciprocity project, for example, and created this, the sharing economy editing platform or website. By the way, if you really want to help out, it would mean so much to me if you can go on there and just buy some credits. I'm really building it for you, because that's actually what I want to do. Like, that's the crazy thing. And figuring out how to do this it's been very helpful for me to sort of have an informed decision in, what does it actually take to do these kind of things, right? And I'm just curious, and I think that is more of that's a better way to go about of this, rather than thinking about, hey, what's the courses that you're going to get the best grades in. I mean, screw that. That's totally useless. Nobody's going to care in 5 years what your grades were. And then the other thing is, what's going to make me the most amount of money? Well, I can tell you to do a lot of things that are going to make you, actually, it's probably a lucrative career is just to start picking up trash from other people and doing, or cutting grass for other people, or babysitting, and then work your way up from there. It's pretty lucrative to do those things. You just have to figure out how to do that at scale. And I know that there's bright enough people that can do that. So, what I want you to think about is stop thinking about those sort of external things of what is it that is so valuable out there that's going to make everybody, that I'm going to impress everybody. Impressing people is it's garbage. It does not work. What you have to think about is, what am I inherently interested in, and what is it that I can do to go forward that I can actually leverage those inherent interests. So, unless there's any questions, I'm live right now. If there's no questions, I'm going to head out because I got to get back to work. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for following along with the Reciprocity Project. It is an honor to be part of your life. I recognize that this is something that's very special to me. That and I recognize that you folks are truly amazing, to be here, and I do not take that for granted at all. So thank you for everything that you've done to make this project work, and to believe in me that this thing will actually work. So with that, give me one of those. I do appreciate it. Take care, and have a wonderful day. You're all so amazing. Bye.